World Mobile is a project that seeks to utilize blockchain and cryptocurrency as a means to decentralize mobile networks. By creating a network of monetary incentives, World Mobile hopes to be able to decentralize infrastructure and be able to provide mobile network even in the most remote places. This is especially important because half of the world right now does not have access to a reliable mobile and internet connection, and so they are basically disconnected. But in this video, we'll focus on analyzing World Mobile as a project, but with a bigger focus on their roadmap, the progress they've made so far, and the tokenomics as well. As always, nothing in this video is financial advice. Well, from the intro, you probably got a good idea, a good summarized version of what World Mobile is and what they are trying to accomplish. But if you want a more in-depth explanation going through the entire dynamics of the project, their technology, everything they are creating to actually decentralize mobile networks, then you should definitely watch the video here at the top. This is the first video I've done about World Mobile, and we dive deeper into that topic and also into the great team that is behind this project. Another important aspect that you might want to consider, like how you can, for example, set up your Earth node if you want to be a part of the network. So definitely a video you should watch whenever you get some time. This video here will actually be kind of a complementary video to the previous one, and the focus here will be more on the roadmap, the tokenomics, and some of the progress that World Mobile has done so far. And starting with that, let's take a look here at World Mobile roadmap. So here we have some of the most important milestones that World Mobile has planned, at least from Q4 2022 until Q3 2023. And as you can see, here is already a lot of information, but it would be great to also have access to all the previous milestones they have defined from the previous roadmaps and analyze as well the progress that the team has made in the project. Okay, but yeah, we are already in Q1 2023, so we can at least analyze the progress until of Q4. So you can see here, wanted to have a B2B and B2C paying customers connected in Tanzania, something they were in fact able to achieve more concretely in Zanzibar. That was that belongs to Tanzania. That was the first their first clients, B2C and B2B. They also wanted to launch the first Aerostat, which they were actually able to do. What are Aerostats, you might be asking? Well, Aerostats are basically these balloons here. Okay, there are not really balloons, like more like a zeppelin or a kind of technology, and they basically have the power to provide connectivity in a wide area, and they are much cheaper than the traditional towers, cell phone towers that companies use, and achieve even more coverage because they are high above. They also plan to release the V1 mobile app for countries where the network is launching, and they in fact have the mobile app ready already, at least the first version, and also create decentralized identifiers for every app customers. Okay, these are basically identifiers through the app that are basically decentralized, stored in blockchain, and where people can share the data they want about themselves as a way to identify themselves. In addition, World Mobile successfully distributed their Earnodes NFTs that give the right to actually run an Earnode in the network, in the World Mobile network. They launched their testnet, which is also extremely important, and they started their Airnode reservation process. I'll leave a link in the description below. So if you want to be a part of the Airnode situation and just help decentralize mobile networks, you might be interested in checking it, especially if you live in a kind of remote region. In Q1 2023, Meld wants to expand for another African country. Let's see if they are actually able to achieve it. I don't know how is the progress on that yet. I know they are also right now expanding to the US, so I don't know if they are changing that. They want to do some updates in their roadmap soon, so they might want to change that to an expansion in the US, but let's see. They also want to add added value services in app for customers to acquire, and in fact, customers, as I understand, can now acquire the mobile data they want for different dates and different days for different prices. They also aim to launch a V2 of their app for a global audience with Cardano wallets already integrated and where people can control their data. And they also want to implement a fiat on RAM payment with the app. That's something they've been working hard on for people to be able to purchase the WMT token. In addition, in Q1, World Mobile also aims to launch their blockchain on mainnet, but let's check if they are actually able to do that as Q1 is almost over, the first quarter. But on my side, what I think is that better be safe than sorry. So let's be careful and try to do the best we can with our technology, make sure everything is working properly, and then launch it. So even if there is a need for a few delays, I think it's better to get things right. In terms of their Airnodes, WMT also wants to create Wi-Fi roaming for seamless user connectivity, create Airnode matching sites for owners and operators to coordinate the process, okay? Because sometimes you can have people that own the device, but they are not operating it. So it's important to have that coordination and create their node owner operator dashboard where they can see everything and the most important information about the dashboard. Naturally, they also want to start distributing proof of service rewards, something that they were actually able to do. In fact, they have a dashboard that is even online and we can check in their website with the rewards that the operators are earning. So, super interesting for sure. For Q2 2023, they aim to expand their business to a third African country. Although, as I said, this is probably revised as they are going for US as well right now. They also aim to release the iOS app as they only have the Android app available right now and allow for net voice calls. Also implement off-net calling in the first country and create support for individual customers. In addition, they plan to demonstrate the development of a software development kit for blockchain-based applications where we actually have the ability to do calls using World Mobile to push calls through our app, which is super interesting. And finally, they all aim to launch an Earthnode operator dashboard, implement decentralized storage as a service, and make it available for customers. So basically, using this network that they are spreading, they'll be able to also offer storage as a service, which is a very valuable service, especially if you're storing things in the blockchain where it's permanently and safely stored. But yeah, there's still even more things they aim to do, like create an encrypted chat as a service for companies and corporations to acquire and use for their conversations if they wish to do so, which is another exciting advancement. A lot of exciting products being built and by World Mobile. Then for Q3 2023, World Mobile aims to accelerate their global expansion and initiate a program with partners, likely an affiliate program, to start scaling at a faster pace. They aim to release the beta of their software development, the one they demonstrated in the previous quarter, and also allow at the same time for international remittance to be sent using the World Mobile network in at least one of the countries they are working on. And this is super exciting because usually now to send money abroad you have to pay huge fees, especially if you want to send to more remote places and to people who don't have access to banking. And if they can do it through the World Mobile app, that would be certainly amazing. It's a great use case for crypto. And if World Mobile is servicing, for example, African countries, they already have the infrastructure necessary in place being used for them as internet, as mobile calls and everything. And they can use it as well for remittance payments, for getting money from abroad, which I think is awesome without having such higher costs. In this quarter, they also want to make encrypted and recorded calls as a service available inside their app and make improvements to their Airnode operator dashboard and to the matching site for owners and operators, okay, so that owner can easily find an operator with the necessary skills to actually manage the node. Certainly looking at this, a very interesting roadmap, a lot of significant launches from testnet to mainnet to their apps, and also like a lot of different services they are developing to complement the World Mobile network to provide value to users and actually have more products that they can generate more revenues in. In addition, it's also interesting to see, how they are really focused on their expansion. At least every quarter, they want to expand to a new country, and in the third quarter, they actually want to start expanding to even more countries. Certainly a great roadmap, but on my side, looking at it, it seems extremely ambitious. And I have analyzed the team, and it's a good team, a very competent team with the skill set to make it happen. But still, I think this is extremely ambitious, and there might be some delays because they are working on so many things at the same time, and difficult things that delays are very likely. However, one thing that is important to mention, and I haven't mentioned yet, is two things that I skipped in the in Q4 roadmap. That is the first TV white spaces capable Airnodes and the CBRS test in the US. Okay, these I had to do a little digging to find out what they are, but basically starting with CBRS, this is a citizens broadband radio service, and it basically utilizing radio service and some frequencies, it enables enterprise to build their own 4G and 5G networks. So very interesting that World Mobile is testing these and using this kind of technology. And then we also have the TV white spaces, which is unused frequencies in VHF and UHF spectrum that can be used to provide wireless connections. So basically, something very specific to the technical side of the project and that are essential for World Mobile to be able to provide all these services. As in any project, the token is always super important, but especially in World Mobile, the token is vital because it is at the center of the ecosystem and is what's going to power and create incentives for everything to work inside this network. As we've seen before, World Mobile token major demand driver is processing the transactions of the network, okay? And naturally, the more fees the network generates and the more usage World Mobile has as a network, the higher will be the price of World Mobile. Node operators and stakers would actually be responsible, as we can see here, to secure the blockchain network and get awarded the transaction fees of the World Mobile chain, where stakers can actually choose the operators they want to stake with. Much like in Cardano, you can choose the stake pool where you want to delegate your ADA and stake with them. Besides the transaction fees, in an initial stage, node operators and stakers will also be rewarded with the inflation paid in a WMT token. And we can see here in this graph how this inflation goes. In fact, 29% of the supply of the tokens will be allocated to these inflation rewards. World Mobile will have an inflation that is decreasing over time, with more rewards going at an early stage of inflation and getting to 0% inflation after 20 years, from where stakers and node operators will only get paid the fees of the network in exchange for their work. Okay, the inflation, as you can see here, starts at 11% per month, reducing gradually until reaching zero. So now let's dive here deeper into the token distribution. So as you can see here, we're at 29%. We talked about going for token inflation. We have 18% that goes to the World Mobile Operation Fund to be spent in activities related with the development of the project. In fact, especially the development of the technology for the next 6 years. It supports the rollout of physical network for the next 6 years. Then we have 17.75% going to the co-founders, 1.5% to the team, 5.90% to advisors of the project, and 7.85% to partnerships. So this is everything going to the people involved and directly working with the project. Then we have 10% that went to a public sale that we will speak more about later. We have 3% that will go for incentive rewards. These are actual activities and initiatives that will be rewarded with the WMT token. Then we also have 2.5% for early staking rewards and 2.5% going for a private sale carried by World Mobile to get their initial funding, while 2% going to the community fund. That this is basically a fund that World Mobile developed to support communities, especially underprivileged and disconnected communities, to be part of the World Mobile network. It's also important in the tokenomics to look at the lockup periods and the vesting schedule. And in terms of lockup, the co-founders have a 18-month lockup where they are not able to touch their tokens, and then a linear vesting of 24 months, While for the team and advisors, the lockup period is only 12 months and the linear vesting is also 24 months. So basically, after the lock period and after this linear vesting of 2 years, the founders, the team, and the advisors will have access to all the funds and they can sell them, do whatever they want with them during these periods. In fact, from after the 18-month lockup, they start having some tokens that they can sell. For private sale, there was a lockup period of 9 months, but then they get everything. For the operation fund, there is a lockup period of 6 months and a linear unlock of 72 months. And the World Mobile Community Fund also has a lockup of 24 months with a linear unlock of 48 months. And the public sale, the incentive rewards, the early staking rewards, and the node operators and stakers, they have no lockup period. It starts immediately when the mainnet starts running. Certainly an interesting distribution of tokens. I do appreciate how there is a considerable amount of tokens going to people that are being a part of the community, a part of the infrastructure, and making it all happen. And I also considerable amount of funds that are set aside to ensure the development of the project in itself, as it's actually also a very infrastructure heavy project. The only downside for me is that there is still a huge amount of tokens going to the co-founders and to the advisors of the project, around 23.65%, which is considerable, especially considering that there are only a few founders and the amount of tokens won't be actually evenly distributed. Just the founders will have actually a lot of tokens compared to the total distribution. This could naturally cause some sales pressure in terms of the World Mobile token. Although I have to admit that even though it is a considerable amount of tokens, there are many projects where the total percentage of tokens going to the team, advisors, and founders is much larger than World Mobile, as World Mobile only has around 25% going to these entities. As I stated before, we would going to go deeper into the public sale. So basically, this was a public sale of the World Mobile token, the WMT token, to fund the initial operations, where they actually sold 200 million World Mobile tokens at a price of 20 cents per World Mobile token. Okay, no lockup, and people could just use the token from that moment onwards. While early staking rewards are basically tokens, a small amount of tokens that was made available to provide staking rewards before the launch of the World Mobile Network, the World Mobile blockchain on the mainnet. Overall, World Mobile seems to be an incredible project. They have a great vision and a great purpose and a great mission, using blockchain to improve the real world, which I think is very nice. They seem to be very organized and have a well thought out model of tokenomics, and also an ambitious roadmap, a very ambitious roadmap to go with it, and some significant process done already. Okay, I think they are a little bit um, late to their roadmap, or they are a little bit behind in terms of their roadmap, but it's actually what they have achieved so far is incredible. And the roadmap is probably too ambitious, it's extremely ambitious, and still they are achieving almost everything, which I think is great. Certainly one of the most interesting and probably one of the most revolutionary projects in the Cardano blockchain, and also one of the projects that has more to show already, has done more progress, considering that the overall Cardano blockchain is pretty ecosystem, of DeFi and RealFi protocols is pretty recent. The only thing I'd like to see and understand about World Mobile, and I wasn't able to find that information, is in terms of the decentralization, if they actually plan to decentralize the decision making and the governance of the project in a later stage, and if they do, how exactly would that happen, as I was not able to find the information about that. However, it's important to notice that even though World Mobile is a fantastic project, these cryptocurrency projects are very early stage, very speculative, and in case what World Mobile is trying to achieve is very hard to do. But in fact, by what they have shown so far and everything they have planned out and their experience, they do have the tremendous potential and an actual good chance of making it happen. It's definitely a project that I'll keep watching, And maybe, who knows, in the near future, if there is interest from you guys, I'll come up with the video on World Mobile and on important topics to add to this analysis, such as the governance model, for example, the progress they have made so far, or even the new project they have in terms of blockchain, as they're building a blockchain on Cosmos, and a blockchain that they want to make interoperable with the Cardano blockchain, and which would be very interesting to see and very good for the ecosystem as a whole. So if that video and other videos about World Mobile are something that interests you, or you just want to keep watching and learning about new projects that are very revolutionary and that have a huge potential to make change in the world and in the blockchain ecosystem, please don't forget to subscribe and turn on all the notifications bell so that whenever a video comes out, you actually get warned about it. Meanwhile, why stop here? There are many other amazing projects on the Cardano blockchain, and that are still at the early stage and represent huge opportunities. But of course, before digging into these projects, before using them, before investing on them, you should definitely do your due diligence. And one of these amazing projects right now is Optim Finance. And I have here a video where I go through an analysis, a fundamental analysis on Optim Finance, and is actually the video you should watch next because it is a super revolutionary and interesting project. And on my side, I'll see you there.